I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, branch managers. It's Todd Scrima. It's Robyn, LaVassaur, and Jim Reed. We are doing for branch managers business planning for 2024. Oh, it's been a crazy 2 years. It's been a crazy 4 years. And I started this years and years ago, and I know Robyn and Jim have done it as well for years, is going offsite. Could be a restaurant, sometimes I've done it in my house. Sometimes depends on how the year went. Sometimes it's at a nice place, sometimes it's not. But taking your team away for a day at least and doing some real detailed business planning. And I wanted to pick your guys' brains on what you guys cover. What's the format of that day look like, Jim? If you could lead us through, like, what do you do? You're like, okay, I'm going to go offsite all day, get people's attention, get their buy-in, get their input into the business plan. What is it that you actually cover?
Yeah, there's two ideas right here for me. The first one is like to help my loan officers work on their business plan. And then the second one is as a group to work on our branch's business plan. And it's really hard to do both at the same time. So I always start with my loan officers filling out this form we have called the one-page business plan. It has a top and a bottom. And it starts with their results from this year and then what they want next year to look like. And there's 5 or 6 topics in there, like units, volume, team size, loan amount size, income, units, for last year, and then what they want to do for this year. And we use the 20% rule, which means that a company can grow by about 20% in a year. That's sustainable, and you can still deliver service. So those are like the boundaries, right? And then I know Robyn does something like this, but we do a quarterly business planning, and once a year it's really, really big. And we invite everybody that's in our branch. We have about 45 employees. We get together for a whole day, and we do the SWOT analysis, right? So what's the S stand for, Robyn? Strengths. Weaknesses.
Opportunities.
And
threats.
Right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And now the purpose of a business planning with a branch, from my opinion, is number one, to let them have input and be heard. That's the biggest, most important purpose of the meeting. Number two is to gain consensus and to have everybody feel like they were part of where we're going, our decision, because really that's the magic. They'll help make it happen if they felt like they helped decide. Third thing is to set some specific, measurable, achievable goals, like how many loan officers are we going to hire? How many units are we going to do? How much volume are we going to do? How many new employees are we going to hire to support the loan officers? To give everybody an idea of a vision that we're going towards, instead of just kind of flopping around the wind. And then the last part of it is to do something fun after. Could be the most important part because it really improves the culture and people want to work with you if they're having fun at work. Now, I did that really, really fast because I wanted to save time for everybody else to talk. But those are the key purposes. And the last thing I'll say, and see Robyn can add on to this, is for a meeting to be successful, or for people that are involved in it to feel like it was a good meeting, the secret is that they all get to talk. And the challenge as a leader in that meeting is to not squash them. Can't squash them because they may say something that's crazy, and you got to not squash them. And let the group kind of decide the most important things. So that's an overview of how we do it. I mean, if I was going to teach SWOT, it would be an hour-and-a-half call because it's a pretty challenging topic. But loan officer business plan, branch business plan are the two most important things. Robyn, how do you get it?
Yeah, I think one of the things, I mean, you know me, I'm a little frou-frou, so I definitely dive in. I really like to, and whether this is with my, realtor referral partners or with the branch in general, I really like for people to understand what their personal and professional goals are. So we do a lot around personal goal setting and really a plan for, 2024. And then to have, you brought up the word vision, Jimmy. I really believe that vision is hope, and that helps people look forward to something. And anytime people are looking forward, which has been pretty broken in the industry, especially over the last year, it means that they're not necessarily looking back, right? They're not comparing and looking back. And one of the things that I think we've really struggled with is looking backwards and not really understanding even what the future holds. Therefore, we hold on to the past. And so I think one of the critical things for 2024 is really getting people back engaged in their own goals. And maybe those goals have been reset really drastically. And I think a lot of loan officers, especially ones that did really well for a couple of years, have struggled with bringing their income level down some and reconciling emotions with that. And yet there's also something to be said for not setting a goal. Hey, I'm going to make, I'm going to go from a tough market, and maybe this year I made 250,000, and I'm going to take myself back to 700 next year. And so, like you said, growing that 20% of where they're at this year, what they've already done, I think is a really, really strong measurable. Hey, if they surpass that, awesome. If they've surpassed that in the first quarter or the first 6 months of the year, do a reset with them. And so as a leader, if you understand what everybody's goals are, I do really well with the team when I understand a couple big things they're looking forward to personally, and then what they're looking forward to, how professionally they can influence those things with what they do here. I think that's a really big thing. Focusing on what we do as a group is a big deal, and everyone having a buy-in of what their contribution is a big thing. We talk about this when you blend sales and ops together in one room. And Jim, I think you do this in your group as well. You get everybody together as one team. It's incredibly important during goal setting that you keep it relevant for all areas, because it's really easy as a leader to focus solely on sales, if you will, and the ops team sit back and get a little bored, right? Get a little squirrely on what their role would be. Gosh, the truth is, when you're in a sales organization, every employee contributes to what?
What do you mean?
Every employee contributes to what when you're in a sales organization?
Sales.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes we think ops and sales. To me, I think one of the keys is uniting everybody into, hey, you know what makes a difference? A really cheery greetings partner that blows people away with their first impressions, right? You know what makes a difference is 5-star surveys with name mentions from every employee in here. And how do you do that? And so one of the things we do as a group in Eugene is we actually measure name mentions on all the surveys, all the way to greetings partner, and how they can get their name mentioned on surveys, calling and congratulating every person on their closing if you were the one that greeted them at the front desk day one of their journey. Having things that celebrate everybody's impact, if you will, in a client and how they do that, doing role plays, lots of interaction. I think that you said it really well, Jimmy, that the best way to keep an engaged goal setting meeting is to make sure that everybody feels like they are contributing to it and also being contributed to. And it is a sequence, but it is ultimately, even if it's table work, if you have a huge group, it's going to be table work, right? Because it's too hard to get to everybody. If you have a small group, it's going around the circle, right? Everybody kind of having a contribution of what they do to not only influence the organization, the team, the vision, all of those things. A couple things they need help with, a couple things that they do really well that we can, really blow up. And I think when people get to use that voice and get excited about it and where we're headed with our vision in 2024, the goal setting ends up pretty masterful. And then the one piece we missed for years in Eugene, and then I'll shush up. We goal set, have a great time with it. Everybody's rah, rah, rah. We normally do it on a Friday, which means Monday morning hits, 2024 hits, and all of that stays in a drawer somewhere, which doesn't do a whole lot of good. And so I would tell you, as an active leader, as a leader that people know that not only you did that as a routine and a piece of the business, but that you actually worried about it all throughout the year. Don't be afraid to make a chart of imagine your success. I had a fellow friend of ours, you guys, that all of us know, say to me, I'm having a hard time writing goals. He's had a ton of success, been just an absolutely incredible leader, hit every goal imagined, if you will. And we were having dinner and he said, I'm really struggling with how to measure my goals for 2024. And I said, what if you measured everything for yourself based on the success of every single person who works for you? What if your goal was simply to help them achieve their top 2 goals in 2024? And so if you're a leader that's seen a crazy amount of
Wow.
success or even a small, like imagine if your measurement for your goals was solely based on the success of other people. And I think that is just a really nice takeaway for all of us to be hyper focused, not only during that one session, but throughout the year, monthly, all the way through December of 2024, other people's success.
Write that down. Hold on a minute. That's a good one. So to make my goal to help my loan officers achieve their top goal, I like that.
Give me the chills over here.
Yeah.
I got a resource.
Todd, real quick, I just want to emphasize one thing. Like, you said something, Robyn, that I wrote down. And it's about blending ops and sales together, and that everybody in our organization is really a salesperson. I was talking with a loan partner today, and they're like a loan part. They've been entry level, and they've also worked on the details of a loan. And as we go through this business, people are having to readjust their skill sets and do things they hadn't done in a long time, and that is definitely part of your goal plan, right? It is definitely a topic at your goal planning meetings. In creating buy-in where people are willing to do whatever you ask of them for the good of the whole. And so I was talking to this gal, and it's a little bit of a tangent, but I'm like, hey, check this out. So if you go to a loan officer and you're telling the loan officer how busy you are all the time, I need you to know how it affects them. She's like, what do you mean? I go, well, loan officers are, I go, well, do you have kids? She's like, yeah. I go, with your kids, you got to constantly build them up and tell them that they're strong and they're smart and they're pretty and they're powerful, and you're working on their self-confidence so they go out in the world and be successful. She goes, oh yeah, I do that all the time. I go, that's us loan officers. We're actually kids. Like, if you come to us and tell us that you're buried and you're stressed and you don't know how you're going to all get it done, we actually will stop selling. And if you come to us and tell us that we can do it and that you need more loans, we'll actually go out and get more loans.
Yeah.
And so having a culture where the ops team understands, number one, that their job in sales kind of is to sell the salespeople.
Yes.
That's when a branch gets a little bit
good reminder, Jimmy.
A little bit magical right there. I just wanted to emphasize it because I thought it was super important. Sorry about that.
That's a good one. I got a resource because I think some people may be listening to this like, I've never done this planning meeting. How do I do it? What do I do? We all follow a book called Traction. And Traction is nothing more than a guy who wrote a book, and it's about how to do business planning for any company. And in that book and on the website, he has a form that we use called Vision Traction Organizer. It's a fancy term for a 2-page business plan. So if you want some resources, you could read that book and also get on Amazon, but also go to the website and you can see all those business planning documents are free. So that's just a detail, because I think some people are like, hey, I'm running a branch, but I've never done a business planning meeting. How do I do it? The other thing is, some people, you guys mentioned fun. So I would like each of you to give 2 ideas each on, so you have this business planning meeting. What's a couple things that you've done afterwards that's fun, that have worked well for you? So Robyn, you first.
Well, I think that you brought up, I'm so glad you did, because I didn't actually bring up the fun. And you know me, I'm always pushing the fun. Like, our EVP team is not good at fun. And I really struggle with it. Like, it is all business. And I'm like, can we have some fun? First of all, laughter is very contagious, and it creates a team and a feeling that when people leave, not only knowing, gosh, I've got a big task for 2024, but I also enjoyed the crud out of myself. And I laughed and I created some fun little, memories with my team. You're winning. And I think leaders really sometimes struggle, especially in times of struggle, to have any sort of celebration, right? It's just all worked, right? Let's work our way through it. So one would be Kahoot. Kahoot is if you are doing your entire thing online, if you have multiple locations and or a lot of people don't come into the office anymore, Kahoot is an incredible online trivia app, very fun. You can customize it. I've done it literally with every person in the branch. 2 years ago, I did every person in the branch's baby pictures. And then we had a chart for everybody to identify the baby pictures and who was who. Some competition that way. You can build it around mortgage and have everybody answer questions, or you can do it around, there's already pre-built Disney 90s pop. Like, Jeopardy, you name it. There's every quiz in there, and it's online, very easy. Everybody works from their phone. It shows you each round who's keeping score. So very easy app to use with Kahoot. That is KAHOOT, just so you know, Kahoot.com. And then if you're in person, I mean, everything from Heads Up, which is a quick game on the phone, to actual minute to win it challenges. You can Google search minute to win it challenges. People make some pretty good fools of themselves with minute to win it. So there's lots of fun, no contact, but very fun things. I mean, from putting a cookie on your forehead and getting it into your mouth without using your hands, like legitimate thing, like 1 minute to do it. Like, you want to see people act silly, give them some silly fun games like we're kids again, and people will have a blast. You make it a relay race and a competition. Don't do it with Jimmy. He's very competitive. He doesn't like to lose. So he'll get very aggressive. No, I'm kidding, Jimmy. And
I think you're projecting there, girl. I think you're projecting.
It is, but it is a fun thing to do and compete and have people win and not be afraid to have some prizes. So what do you do, Jimmy?
Bingo is super cool. Believe it or not, people love bingo with some prizes afterwards. But like in person, we go bowling. We go to Top Golf. There's an amusement center that has like beer, pizza, and batting cages. Anything like that you go do as a group, I always shrug those things off. And then when I go, I have a good time. But everybody has a really, really good time. I'm telling you, bowling is hilarious. People get competitive. Some people don't care. But I would say my number one most favorite thing is bowling. It cracks me up how serious some people take it, and everybody's social and talking. And really, that's what you want, is to be laughing, interacting. Because, we say the connection is the solution, and quality time is a love language, right? And so it really fits in with that plan of creating a culture where people want to be. Listen, it's going to be the family that plays together stays together. And that's what it's going to be. And people get distracted. I'm already seeing weird stuff in our industry. And the people who can stay grounded and outlast them all, that's what I want to be. Stay grounded and outlast them all. Making weird decisions, treating people bad because you're scared. These are things to watch out for. Over criticizing everybody. When that starts to enter your branch, boy, you better fix it. Man, you better fix it fast. And I think, getting together and doing this all-day business planning meeting, no matter how small your little branch is, can really benefit you in the long run. I don't know where we would be without it. I do it every quarter religiously. I have since it was taught to me. And I don't wait for January. If you're watching this, do it like tomorrow. Do it before the end of the year, and make it fun.
Yes. Let me close this out with a quick story. I was traveling all week last week. I get home on Friday. My son got home from a 3-day high school event where they take 50 kids at a time, and they go into the woods and stay in little cabins, and they operating mostly in groups of 7, and they get them to talk. Like, they go deep. It's like a spiritual retreat. He says, "Dad, I got to talk to you. I'm like, okay. So he comes over, and we just sit on the couch for an hour. And he spills out, we talked about this. I didn't know this about this friend. I had no idea that this teacher went through this. And he just was glowing with how connected and loved he felt.
What?
Now, understand, he goes to high school with the same kids for 4 years. So all they did was change the environment and gave him some questions, and it led to this brotherhood feeling.
Wow.
Matter of fact, to the point to where if he comes up to me the next day and said, "Dad, can I have 5 of my buddies over and we cook dinner together? Because we just want to talk more about this experience we just had." And that's what you're looking for. That's what Jim and Robyn are describing, is that feeling of connectedness, that feeling. It's the same people that he's been going to high school with. He sees them different now.
Wow.
After that event. So anyway, connectedness is a big deal, guys, and it's part of any business, especially mortgage. So hope you enjoyed this. Jim and Robyn, thank you so much for your time. Have a beautiful month, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.